Some good news before we hop into the games in this episode, and that is Lance Lynn has returned from his short stint on the IL with his inflamed hip. Colby Allard made 2 starts in his place and then was sent back down to AAA Nashville. So Lynn is back in the rotation, and unfortunately, we also have 2 new big injuries to the big league club. Rougned Odor and Shin-Soo Choo are both on the 60-day IL. Odor with a herniated disc and Choo with a broken shin. Odor's replacement will honestly be an upgrade with how he was hitting. He had a sub 500 OPS, which is just absurd for a guy who plays every day through 2 months of the season. Shin-Soo Choo wasn't lighting it up either, but he was still getting on base at like a sort of okay rate, and also I was probably more confident with him turning it around than I was with Odor. But both of them are now on the IL long-term, so Andy Ibanez has been called up from AAA right before the minor league update video. That's why you did not see him in that video. And then Nick Solak is back from his stint in AAA as well. Solak will be playing in left field while Ibanez is at second base. Also, Blake Swihart has been sent back down to AAA because he was not performing in the big leagues, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is back up in the bigs as a backup catcher/infielder. So the Rangers travel out to Kansas City to take on the Royals at Kauffman Stadium. They're going to be sending out Jacob Junis, making his 12th start of the season, wearing the blue-sleeved unis. And then wearing the red Texas Rangers unis, it's Lance Lynn, making his 9th start, his first since his return from the IL. And things would start out well for him. Bottom of the first, it's going to be a chopper over to Frazier at third, makes the play, 1-2-3 inning for Lynn. In the bottom of the second, it's going to be a scoreless inning as Franco grounds out to his position. Frazier makes another play, 2 scoreless innings, and then also in the top of the third, he would blow a fastball by Mabrys Valaria. After that, it would be Nicky Lopez, who also goes down on the fastball, so 2 down on strikeouts, and then Adalberto Mondesi lines one back to him, makes the play himself, 1-2-3 inning, and it's still scoreless. So top half of the fourth now, Jacob Junis delivers a pitch to Andy Ibanez, who bloops one into right field for a base knock to lead off the inning, and that is Andy Ibanez's first career big league hit. So he's on first base, but it would not matter because Joey Gallo then came to the dish and shot one over to third base. That is a 3-6-3 double play started by Ryan O'Hearn, and nothing else would happen in the inning. Move things on to the top of the fifth now, where Ronald Guzman hits a loud pop fly into right center. Nothing going on that one. Todd Frazier then comes to the plate. He's going against the shift into right field. That is over the head of the right fielder Dozier, or I think it's Soler playing right field and Dozier's DHing, as Frazier gets into second with a double. Then Nick Solak comes to the plate. He pops one up to center field. Frazier with the courtesy tag to draw the throw, but he holds up at second base with 2 outs. Next batter up is Elvis Andrus, who draws himself a walk, so it's first and second with 2 down. Brings up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's catching on the day, and he chops one down the third baseline. Maikel Franco makes the jump throw, and that is still scoreless. Onto the top of the sixth now, it's Willie Calhoun, who draws himself a walk, so he's on first base with 2 outs as Danny Santana hits a ball to deep right center field. This one is going to get down over the leaping glove of Whit Merrifield, as it's now second and third for 2 outs as that saves the run. They intentionally walk Ronald Guzman to load the bases, and then Todd Frazier's first pitch swinging gets jammed, pops it up to O'Hearn, and we are still scoreless. Now on to the bottom of the seventh. Lance Lynn gives up a hit off of himself as Soler lines that off the leg of Lynn. He would not be hurt though, because this is MLB The Show after all, and you can't get hurt on those pitches. Despite having a 100-mile-an-hour exit velo just hit off your hip that you just came off the IL. So the next batter up was Hunter Dozier, and he connects on a pitch, sends this one out to deep left center field, and that's into the seats. The Royals strike first in this game, make it a 2-0 lead for Kansas City. We now move on to the top of the eighth, where Joey Gallo connects on a pitch as well. This one is way out of here. Joey Gallo's solo shot cuts the lead in half. It's a 2-1 ball game as he homers off Jacob Junis, and that would Move things on to the top of the 9th, where Ian Kennedy came on looking for the save. He's been perfect in save situations, but things are going to end there for him, as Ronald Guzman is going to hit one down the left field line, double to lead off the inning. Then to get some speed out there, Adolis Garcia comes on to pinch run, so he's on second base with one out now as Nick Solak comes up. He's going to bloop one in front of Merrifield in center field. Garcia rounding third, going home, the throw to the plate, the tag attempt misses Garcia. It was a valiant effort by Valaria, but the runner scores anyway, and it's now a tie 2-2 game. Moving on to the bottom of the 9th, Leclerc looking to send things into extras, and he would do just that as Andy Ibanez with a jump throw from outfield grass gets the runner Soler at first base. So move things on to the top of the 10th now. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa line drive down the left field line. That's going to be a double off of Ian Kennedy to lead off the inning. That would end his day as Josh Staument comes on for the 10th time this season to try to get out of the jam, and he would get a ground ball from Ibanez that moves up Falefa to third base. So he's in scoring position at third still, but then Joey Gallo gets fooled by the curveball. 2 down. Next batter up is Willie Calhoun, and he forgets that he's 3 feet tall and swings at a high fastball as he goes down for the third out. So top of the 11th now, Josh Staument still on the hill. Danny Santana off the foul pole, a solo shot for the center fielder, and the Texas Rangers are now up in this game 3-2, their first lead of the ball game as Josh Staument blows it. Juan Nicasio comes on for the save in the 11th, and he would get it as Alex Gordon grounds out. Ibanez flips to the covering shortstop Andres at second, and that is your ball game as the Texas Rangers win this one in 11 innings here at Kauffman Stadium. Jose Leclerc gets the win, Juan Nicasio gets the save, and Danny Santana was player of the game. He had a double and the go-ahead home run in the 11th inning for this Texas Rangers ball club. And now the Rangers are back home at Globe Life Field playing host to the Oakland Athletics, who are sitting at the top of the AL West currently. Kyle Gibson got off to a rough start in the season, but he's been sort of putting things back together, so he gets the start for his 12th time this season, and then Sean Manaea will be going up against him. We'll start things off with Kyle Gibson in the top of the second. Stephen Piscotty getting punched out on the fastball that nicks the down and away corner. After that, it's going to be Austin Allen, the catcher, swinging through an inside pitch. So 2 down, and then it brings up Seth Brown, who's going to ground into the shift. Andres with the 360 spin throw over to first base for the third out of the inning. Move things on to the bottom half of the second, where Willie Calhoun's going to rip a ball down the right field line. Piscotty has trouble with it, and that's going to allow Calhoun to get into second base with a double. So a leadoff double for Willie, as then it brings up Danny Santana, who grounds out to second base. That allows Calhoun to move up, so he's on third with 1 out. Todd Frazier's then at the dish, checks his swing on that ball 4 call, and that's going to be a walk. So he's on first. It's runners on the corners for Elvis Andres, who connects on a pitch. This one's going to get peppered off that left field wall, and that's going to score a run. 1-0 lead for the Rangers. Second and third, 2 outs, brings up Adolis Garcia, and he is absolutely destroying this pitch. That is way out of here. Triggers the no doubt animation. Out of all people, the homer, the jacked man, Adolis Garcia, the 9-hole hitter on the team, is the one doing it as he cuts this game, or he blasts this game wide open, 4-0. The Rangers tried to score more as Andy Ibanez is going gapping there, and he's going to get all the way into third base with a 2-out triple. Unfortunately, Robinson Chirinos would not be able to drive him in, though, as he flies one out to deep right field for the third out. So the 4-0 lead still intact in the top of the fourth. Marcus Semien is plunked on the elbow by a pitch, so he's on first, and then Matt Olson rips the ball into right field. That's going to be a base knock, so it's first and second with nobody out for the A's. Then Piscotty grounds into a 6-4-3 double play. Andres to Ibanez to Bird over at first base. And then with runner on third and 2 outs, it's Austin Allen going down the left field line. That's going to drive in a run for the A's as they get themselves on the board. It's now a 4-1 ball game. as we move things on to the bottom of the fourth, where Greg Bird is committing some lefty-on-lefty crime. Bird is the word. A no-doubt home run for Greg Bird makes it a 5-1 lead for Texas, back to having a 4-run lead. And then in the top of the sixth, Seth Brown is going to hit a ball into the right center field gap with a runner out on second base, and that's going to score the second run of the game for the A's, and it would also end Kyle Gibson's day as he comes out here in the top of the sixth with the lead intact. DeMarcus Evans, the hard-throwing rookie right-hander, came on, and he would proceed to not be able to find the strike zone. Chad Pinder walked on 4 pitches. Tony Kemp walked on 5 pitches. So first and second turns into bases juiced with 2 outs. Fortunately, Evans would get out of it as he gets Sheldon Noisy to pop up to shortstop Andrews as he camped under it. Top of the 7th now, Rafael Montero came on for the Rangers out of the pen with 2 outs and a runner on third now. It's going to be a bloop single, or a little shoot single, I should say, by Piscotty, as that drives in another run, makes it a 5-3 game. As we move on to the 9th, as the A's tried to chip away at the lead that the Rangers had, but they just could not do it, as Leclerc shuts the door in their face in the top of the 9th. A 2-run lead is enough as the Rangers win this one 5-3 over the Oakland A's here at home, wearing the baby blues. Kyle Gibson gets the win, Sean Manaea gets the loss, and Jose Leclerc gets the save. Elvis Andrews picks up Player of the Game honors. He went 2 for 3 on the day with 2 two-baggers, and then Adolis Garcia and Greg Bird both had home runs, while Willie Calhoun had 3 hits and 4 at-bats as well. And now before we move on to the third game up of the episode, we are in the beginning of June now, so we do have the 2020 MLB Entry Draft to go over. The Texas Rangers had the 14th overall pick. There you see who was drafted in the first 13 picks, as we have quite a few guys scouted. And there was also one blue chip left on the board, that being Felipe Ozuna. Despite being one of those multi-year development guys, we took Felipe Ozuna. My hope is that he's just such a high potential that if he was going to have 1 or 2 good seasons in AAA, he will get an insane ratings boost, and he'll be completely fine. And also, he's only 19, so I'm fine with waiting till he's 23 or so to be in the big leagues anyways. So that was our first round pick. He will obviously get talked more about in a prospect profile, probably next season. If not the season after that, but probably next season, as he is a first-round pick. Second-round pick was William Burns, a 19-year-old right-handed starter out of the Netherlands. The third-round pick was Napoleon Nunez, another 80-grade name added to our organization, 21 years old outfielder out of Michigan. A fourth-round pick was Alex Lopez, 19-year-old right-handed reliever out of Venezuela. And the fifth-round pick, Ray Pena, 22-year-old right-handed starter out of Puerto Rico. And the sixth-round pick, Richard Reyes, 22-year-old shortstop out of Panama. All these guys will either be highlighted in their own prospect profiles, or obviously in future minor league updates once they become part of the team in Season 2. We also have a couple roster things to go over, as Andy Ibanez is another big league player who is going to the 60-day IL. Broken shin for Andy Ibanez, the same injury as Shin-Soo Choo. He was actually performing very well as our leadoff guy. He was slashing .290, .389, .484 through 9 games of the bigs. Obviously only 9 games, but still, that was much better than any other guy we had in the leadoff spot this season, and it looked like he was going to just keep rolling with the hot streak he was on in AAA and keep rolling with it in the bigs. But now we do not get to experience that, as he is out for pretty much the rest of the season at this point, and he might be back like at the end of it, but he's not going to be an effective player for us, obviously, because he's not playing. Nick Solak will now be moving to second base to take Ibanez's spot, and then left field will now be a combination of Adolis Garcia and the only other outfield option we have on the 40-man currently, Leody Taveras, the Rangers' number 3 prospect, has been called up straight from AA. He was already on the 40-man roster. Leody Taveras is the cousin of former speedster in the major leagues, Willie Taveras. He was the stolen base king in, I believe, 2007, I want to say. It was with the Rockies. He stole a lot of bases with the Astros as well. Leody Taveras is his cousin, and now he is going to be on our big league team now that we have a bunch of openings and we're on like our 4th set of players at like every position, it feels like. Also, since we are now into June, we can take a look at the players of the month. In the National League, the pitcher of the month was Clayton Kershaw, the player was Wilson Ramos, and the rookie was Akiyama of the Cincinnati Reds. While in the American League, both the pitcher and rookie of the month was Shun Yamaguchi of the Toronto Blue Jays. He was 5-0 in 5 starts with a .72 ERA, while the player was Nelson Cruz because he hit 11 bombs in the month of May. And speaking of the Blue Jays, that's who the Rangers are going to be taking on here at the Rogers Center, and it's going to be Shun Yamaguchi on the hill for the Jays, making his 14th start of the season, fresh off his player or pitcher of the month and rookie of the month award. He'll be opposed by Jordan Lyles, who start things off bottom of the 1st inning. Line drive into foul territory. Guzman dives, cannot make the catch. He's also hurt on the play, so Greg Bird comes into play first base the rest of the game. He would not have to go on the IL, fortunately, Guzman that is, and that would be all that happened in that inning, so we move things on to the top of the 3rd now, where Elvis Andrus draws himself a walk. After that, Leody Taveras shows some plate discipline and draws a walk as well, so 1st and 2nd, 1 out now for Chirinos. He's going to pop a ball up to deep right field. That's going to allow Andrus to tag up from 2nd into 3rd base, so runners are on the corners for the Rangers with 2 outs, brings up Willie Calhoun, swings through the pitch, but Taveras goes and swipes 2nd base, showing off what his cousin taught him, so he's on 2nd and 3rd, and 2 outs, runners going on the pitch on the 3-2 count, and that allows both of them to score on the 2 RBI single from Willie Calhoun as the Rangers jump out to a 2-0 lead. On to the top of the 4th now. Greg Bird in Guzman's spot is going to single, and then with 1 out brings up Todd Frazier, and the Todd father, he's flying that one to the moon. Over the left field fence, a 2-run shot as they double their lead just like that, as the Rangers are now up in this one 4-0, as Shun Yamaguchi may have had a great May, but he did not get off to a good start in June. As now on to the bottom of the 5th, it's going to be a jump throw from Solak, not in time to get the runner over at first base. Brings up Bo Bichette, who hits an absolute laser right at Taveras in left field, but it is an out. So 1 down, runner on first. Kevin Biggio now at the plate as he lines one down the right field line. That's going to, even with Gallo's arm, get the runner into 3rd base. So 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Brings up Vladdy Jr. He's going to hit a ball past the diving glove of Solak, scores a run, and it makes it a 4-1 ball game as it's runners on the corners again with 1 out, as it brings up Gurriel, and he's going to ground into a 3-6-1 double play. It's now a 4-1 game as we move things on to the bottom of the 6th inning, as Teoscar Hernandez hits a ball into the left center field gap. That's going to be an easy 2-bagger for him as he's got some fleet feet, and that'll end Jordan Lyles' day as Jesse Chavez comes out of the pen with runner on 2nd and 1 out. It's going to be a chopper from Grichuk. Solak charges, gets the runner Grichuk at first, but a runner runs on 3rd with 2 outs. And Reese McGuire is going to drive that man in as a ground ball gets past Andrus' glove at shortstop. It's now a 4-2 game. The lead is cut in half. Move things on to the bottom of the 7th, where Bo Bichette leads things off with a walk. After that is Biggio, who also draws a walk. So 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Shane Carl will come on to replace Jesse Chavez, who has been fantastic out of the bullpen for the Rangers this season. But the first batter he faces is Vladdy Jr., hitting a ball past Andrus at short. That's going to drive in a run, and it's only a 1-run lead now for the Rangers. And then Shane Carl would clutch up from there. Gets a pop-up from Gurriel for out number 1. Runners remain at 1st and 2nd. After that, Rowdy Tellez gets rung up on a slider that nicks the outside half. And then Teoscar Hernandez gets rung up on a front door slider. So Carl gets out of the jam. The lead remains intact. And then Danny Santana giving his team some insurance as he bloops one in front of the left fielder. That's going to drive in a run from 2nd base, as it's now a 2-run lead for the Rangers. Brett Martin came on in the 8th inning, got Grichuk to ground out, and then he proceeded to absolutely dice up a couple lefties. Reese McGuire goes down on the front door slider, and then McKinney goes down on the slider, trailing into the other batter's box. So now on to the 9th, where Jose Leclerc got into a bit of trouble as the first batter up, Bo Bichette, is going to line one down the left field line. That's going to be an immediate double for Bo Bichette, so he's in scoring position right off the bat. Next batter up is Kevin Biggio, gets a 99-mile-an-hour fastball pumped right by him for out number 1. Then Vladdy would draw himself a walk as Leclerc could not find the strike zone. After that, it's Gurriel getting a fastball blown by him for out number 2. And then Rowdy Tellez comes to the plate, and he has the same fate with a swing that's going to end up on Pitching Ninja as he goes down for the third out of the 9th inning, and that is the ball game as the Texas Rangers squeak this one out over the Toronto Blue Jays here at the Rogers Center. 5-3 is your final score. Jordan Lyles gets the win, Shun Yamaguchi gets the loss, and the save, of course, goes to Jose Leclerc. And with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Texas Rangers franchise here on MLB The Show 20. I have been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, Benny Agbayani.